Okay. Hi everybody. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'm Dylan. I go by Outhouse Cartoons on most things, including YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all that. And I'm also the creator of Combat Fairies, which is a punk urban fantasy action adventure graphic novel trilogy. And the third and final volume of that trilogy is coming to Kickstarter on July 30th. And that's why we're here today. So I'm going to draw one of those fairies. We're going to draw Enora today. Um, and if you're interested, check out the link in the description. Find Combat Fairies on Kickstarter. And see if there's anything there that strikes your fancy. There's the comic itself, of course, both digitally and physical prints. They're all three of them are fairly thick graphic novels. But there's also prints and of all kinds of different prints. Actually, there's also commissions and you can get original artwork, and you can even get art lessons, one-on-one art lessons, where kind of like what we're about to do here today, but I'll draw digitally so you can see up close a little bit more freely, and I'll walk you through drawing whatever character you want. But tonight, or today, whenever you have me watching it, we're going to draw Enora. So let's draw Enora starting now. So you always want to rough in your basic pose and body structure and anatomy and all that stuff. Some people, especially when they're starting out, they want to just jump right in, drawing detail and stuff, and it almost never works out for them because you're connecting things that you can't quite see when you do it that way. So limbs don't attach to the right parts of the body and things like that. Okay, so we're gonna do make sure to put a good curve in the line of action there. We're not really doing an action pose per se. We're just gonna do kind of a cool pose, but a lot of things looking too stiff. So we got our rib cage. There's our shoulder line. So we're gonna do opposite angle. You almost never want to have your hips and shoulders running parallel to one another. There we go. Her one knee up. Fairies are almost always flying, and usually one of those knees is going to be a little up. Enora is the tallest of our three fairies, or five fairies. I don't know why the hell I said three. Counting's not my strong suit, apparently. Okay, we're gonna give her that clavicle here. Figure out where the chest would land. Enora uses double revolvers, almost like 6-shooters, almost like a cowboy. So we're gonna pose her here almost like she's ready to draw. Unlike us, we're already drawing. We got one arm ready. go. So we got our basic body structure in there. Important step one. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Enora wears kind of an old school looking army helmet. There's kind of a bit of a lip on it, so let's break it up into kind of the dome and then a little, almost like a upside down witch's cauldron, you could say. And I got her kind of looking down a little bit. So there's the shape of the helmet in there, and then we're going to put these aviators, which are a little slightly on the oversized side of things as well. And then her nose. And Enora is very much the strong silent type, so her mouth, I usually tend to draw kind of smallish. But she's got a lot of attitude. A lot of people have told me that Enora is their favorite of the fairies. Okay, she's also got these straps hanging down from the helmet, which probably maybe defeats the purpose of the helmet in the first place. But we won't question that too much. Okay, we got our ears. They kind of poke up. She's got 3 studs on each ear. And then she's got 2 hoop earrings on each ear as well. 3 studs. You can't really see the rest of the ears too well because of her whole head is actually quite busy. Sometimes I question if that was the right. Then she's also got this almost like netting. I don't know if there's a name for this. It's just something I've seen in war movies and stuff, so decided to look cool. Not sure exactly what the purpose of it is, to be totally honest. There we go. And she's also got her pigtails that poke out like that. And we'll worry about exactly where that hair goes in a bit, but we'll just figure out where it starts. I think that works pretty well. Something I really try to do with all the fairies is give them really distinctive silhouettes from one another, and the hair and the ears are a big part of how that works. Some of their other accessories help as well. I think that's a big part. Okay, so for her belt is pretty much a bunch of pouches. She's done as a bit of an homage to old 90s comics, where everybody had to have a shit ton of pouches at all times. Here she's got a spiral stone, that's how she's able to see. She's actually blind. So we had kind of mapped in the belt. It's not that different from how we drew Ayla. Maybe you've watched the Ayla video. And then we're going to put the pouches on here, which are basically like cubes or rectangular cubes. Is that a thing? Yeah. And then these ones, because her knee is up, I'm going to do kind of the other way. So here we're seeing the top edge of them. Here we're going to see the bottom edge. because her knee is like pushing it upward. And she's got the other ones kind of wrapping around behind her. So there we go. And then she's got suspenders. Like that. And also like that. Coming down. And she's got like kind of panels or buckles or whatever you may or may not want to call them as well. A lot of the kind of accessory details and trinkets on the fairies are purposefully a little overdone and somewhat superfluous. Not all their things, but some of them. She's got her belly button stud. Okay, so she's wearing a skirt here. So because this knee is up, we're going to curve it this way. And then we're going to curve it the other way. There is a smooth S curve. There we go. There's the skirt. And she's got her holsters that she's ready to draw from. One there. And one there. And she's got a bunch of bracelets. So many bracelets, it's almost like a gauntlet kind of. The design evolved a little bit. If you look at the early, like the first couple issues, she didn't have quite as many bracelets, and they fit her a little bit more loosely. And then I started kind of exaggerating the number of them a little bit more. This arm actually has a tattoo on it. Kind of like tribal tattoos, I guess. But I totally made them up, so it would be like fairy tribal tattoos. Because why not? That seems like something that would be a thing. There we go. And let's define this a little bit more. Her leg, foot, the toes. I know feet and hands are a problem for a lot of people. If there's ever interest, I don't mind doing an extra video. Let me know in the comments. Just doing that kind of stuff. But also, if you do back the Kickstarter and get yourself an art lesson, we'll make sure to talk about that if that's something that you want to do more with. Oh, we need to give her a anklet here as well. There we go. And her wings. Enora has 6 wings actually. There's 3 of them. And there's another one. And another one. There we go. There's all 3. Let's just make this one a tiny bit bigger. And maybe this one as well. Okay, and then we just have to figure out her pigtails here. So we're going to scoop these in like that. And I always think S curves when you're doing hair or anything that's kind of flowing. And when I ink these, I'll throw in a few more details that make it feel a bit more like hair. But for right now, this will give us everything that we need to make sense of our character. There we go. Okay. So now we're ready to start inking this. I usually ink with the stuff that's in the front and work my way back. So we're going to start with her helmet. And the part with the helmet, thing to remember, is the crisscrossing of this netting, the way it's kind of latticed on there. So if it goes behind this one, it should be on top of that one, and then behind, and then on top, and so on. And alternating all the way across the board. And there are definitely times in the comic where I messed that up. And I bet if you look closely enough, you can spot exactly what I'm talking about. It's just easy to kind of trip yourself up a little bit sometimes when you're doing that kind of thing, especially when you're doing as much as I was working on this comic. It's very easy to burn yourself out a little bit, and then those things can get missed. Even easier than they already can be. I don't think I need to be burnt out to make a mistake like that, though. There we go. Now to drop in the helmet behind it, which is going to need a little bit of additional attention once the starting lines are in there. But we're going to need to imply some cast shadow from this kind of thick twine or whatever it is that would be wrapped all around this. And the helmet itself needs some texture. And we're also going to do a heavier concentration of hatching on this bottom ridge just to help highlight the change in depth. Okay, let's add in, so basically just essentially just making one edge of the rope a little bit thicker. So be careful not to cross the rope any point either, if that makes sense. Yep, I'll do it over here too. And then we're doing some hatching on all the exposed parts of the helmet. It's almost like she's got like two sets of mesh on the helmet. Maybe she does. I decided that the helmet. If they make a a live action combat Fairies movie, so we'll have to figure it out. But good luck with that. Well, the animation probably makes more sense. Okay, we're gonna throw in her nose there. And the sunnies cast a little bit of a shadow. Emphasis on little for the sunnies. These are actually aviators, more specifically, so other sunglasses I would maybe fill in with black, but not for aviators. Not in most scenarios, anyway. Gonna cast a tiny bit of a shadow with the aviators as well. There we go, there's her face done. We're gonna do the straps. One strap's got a buckle on it. I put an extra little line on that buckle to imply a glare of some kind coming off of it. There we go. And her earrings, of course, also. What would a fairy be without her earrings? There we go. And helmet strap over here now. Gink, 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 gink. There we go. There we go. Now for her ears, the pointy part of her ears, or her fairy ears, with the triple studs. We all wish we could be as cool as Enora, let's be real. There we go. And she also got the hair ties here, so for these I kind of just purposely give them kind of bumpy edges. And then I just do this like zigzaggy squiggle. Nice and simple, but effective. I'll do it again over here, kind of bumpy edges. And then zigzag squiggle. There we go, there's her head, all done. We're gonna jump down to her belt now, again, because I like to think about how I'm overlapping, layering things, so. Do the belt buckle. Casting a little bit of a shadow. And on the buckle is the spiral stone. Kiani gave Enora top her seat. Do a little bit of glare on the gold around it. There's the belt buckle finished. And we gotta give her the mandatory comic book pouches. A little bit of hatching. Like that, we'll fill in this little bit of her belt here as well. And that is just going to be black. And another belt. Sorry, another pouch actually. Not another belt. So only really got one belt. So when I drew these pouches, they were just kind of cubes with like an upside down triangle at the top to kind of show where the flap was. And then as I ink over it, you can see I added bumpy lines, ridges, make it look a little bit thicker, a little fatter. So they're made out of some sort of material, probably leather, I'm thinking. Or maybe not, because Enora is kind of an animal activist, so she probably wouldn't really dig on the leather. And a little bit of hatching. A little can go a long way sometimes. So I like to do a little bit just to apply some creases, or maybe there's curving in somewhere or whatever, but if you overdo it, it just starts looking really dark. So if it's supposed to be a relatively smooth surface and the intent isn't to make it look super dark, I'm going to try to concentrate in just a couple areas. Sometimes you might put a line in not exactly the right spot, and that becomes a good reason to slightly heavier shadow there. As Bob Ross says, we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. And who would argue with Bob Ross, am I right? So we should try to think where light would be hitting, or where light wouldn't be hitting. And that will often influence where you want to thicken a line, add a detail, whatever it might be. Or the opposite, let you know I don't want to put much detail there, because that should be really bright. And black ink is always going to make it look darker no matter what you do with it, so sometimes less is more. There we go. There's her pouches done. Let's do her arms. She's holding her hands in kind of almost claw-like position because she's ready to grab her guns ASAP. Enora, as you may have guessed, is supposed to be a crack shot, which is a bit ironic since she's also blind. You might say that is how I planned it. Isn't that crazy? If you're drawing along with me while I'm making this, or any of the other videos that I put out, really ever, but especially while we're doing this Kickstarter, post it and tag me. I'd love to see it. And also, if it's the fairies, it'll help promote the campaign. And I'll appreciate any help anybody wants to offer. Not everybody can back a Kickstarter, but everybody can hit the like button and the share button. And it actually helps quite a bit, because it lets the algorithm know that there's interest in this post, and it makes it more visible for other people to find it. The algorithm is not always the most kind to us indie artists, indie creators. Alright, we got one arm done. Just realized I put some fingernails. There's the other arm. Now we'll do that skirt with that smooth S curve, the aforementioned S curve. And she's got not really plaid, I guess, plaid adjacent, but like military colors. There we go. These pouches should be casting a little bit more of a shadow. So add those in. Just like adding a little bit more black underneath. And we'll do a little bit of hatching, in particular here to kind of show where the bend in the fabric is, kind of like between where her legs would be. We'll ink the knee, adding some additional definition as we go. And we want to imply that the skirt is also casting a tiny bit of a shadow. It's probably pretty tight to her skin, so maybe not much, but it just feels a little bit more finished when we include those details. Our holster now. Because Combat Fairies is fantasy, I'm able to use a little bit of cartoon logic. So these ridiculously huge guns that honestly most of the fairies have fit in fairly normal sized holsters. Alright, we got one more leg to do here now. And we're darkening the bottom edge of the limbs to imply that's where we mostly have shadow. take your time inking round stuff like the earrings and the bracelets and stuff. But when you're penciling them, you might find that actually the faster you draw them, fast and loose, the more round I'll be able to get that shape. Have her other holster now. All the fairies have their little frustrating bits that are a little bit more of a pain. With Ayla's, it's the gun holster, or the bullet straps across her chest. With Enora, primarily I would say the helmet with all the intersecting lines and stuff. If you're drawing digitally, don't forget that you can usually, I think most apps let you do it, rotate the canvas, which is helpful. You can see how often I rotate when I'm drawing. Part of that is my animation background using a light table. So her wings, like most of the fairies, are more like insect-like. So they've got like clearly defined veins on them. And I try to like bespeckle them a little bit to imply some more texture, but I don't like to go too wild. These are kind of translucent as well, so. I think I've already said that in the Kickstarter I'm offering one-on-one drawing lessons as a backer reward. And you can sign up for more than one if you want. So in theory, we'd probably be doing something more like what I'm doing here, but with whatever character you want to do. It doesn't have to be combat fairies. But if you wanted to do a second one, add a second one, then we could color it. Although if you already have a drawing with all the line work done and you want to color it but need some help, that could be a possibility too. There we go, there's our wing. Just got to do her hair now. Okay, these big curves can be a little intimidating, so we're going to break this up into a few different parts to imply that hair texture a bit more. So we're going to start out kind of like that. It's going to come to a peak, and then we'll start another curve there, and then we're going to do that over here with a few like that. Original designs for the fairies, I didn't actually get quite as elaborate with the hair, and then once I started actually drawing the comic, that almost immediately became something I elaborated on, and then it became kind of a staple. I like drawing long hair. There's something kind of weirdly fun or even cathartic, I feel like, about drawing the flowy stuff. In the case of a comic book, also can become, you can start using it as like framing devices sometimes when you have this excessively long hair. Especially with characters that fly. Because you can imagine that maybe they're kind of always in constant motion. So the hair is always flowing one way or the other, so you can kind of just move it around to whatever position or shape is going to make that scene look that much more impressive. When you're doing curves like this is especially when you want to bend the, or not bend, rotate the page around a little bit. There we go. We got one pigtail. Just one more to go. And then we'll have a few spot blacks. And then we can call this one finished, guys. Oh, bump the camera there. I think we're okay though. Go. I will say with this long hair though, it's the cathartic part of it is a lot more true when you're just penciling it, not when you're going really, really slow to try to keep all your curves in the right spot. That part is sometimes just straight up stressful, if we're being honest. But, you know what, we're almost done. So we won't fixate on that. Okay. Just got some spot blacks to throw in there. But then we're done. We are done. So we got the back part of her belt here, the pouches that kind of wrap around behind her. And we have this part of her tattoo, and then that might actually be it for our spot blacks. I think so. I think so. We're done, guys. So there is Enora. So once again, guys, Enora is one of 5 combat fairies from my graphic novel trilogy of the same name. Volume 3 is now on Kickstarter, or will be on July 30th. So if it's not July 30th yet, while you're watching this, 2025, hit the link in the description so that you can follow it and be notified as soon as it goes live. If it's after July 30th, then hit that link, and maybe, hopefully, it's not too late for you to back the project. You can get the book, you can get art prints, you can get postcards, you can get commissions, you can get a bunch of different things, including one-on-one art lessons for anybody that's interested. And if you can't back it, hit the like button, hit the share button, leave a comment. It all really helps the algorithm quite a lot. Obviously, if you share it, more people see it because all your friends see it. But also, it lets the algorithm know that people like what you're doing. So it puts it in front of more faces. So it really helps a lot, guys. So please hit like and share and all that stuff. And I'll be back with more drawing videos. We're gonna work our way through all of the fairies. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next time.